Okay, so we've learned how to configure EIGRP and implement EIGRP authentication. Let's discuss how to troubleshoot problems related to EIGRP interfaces now. Look at an example for troubleshooting EIGRP interface problems. The example includes 4 routers. Router A and Router B are configured correctly on both LAN interfaces. Router C is not enabled with EIGRP, and Router D has configured a passive interface FA00 command. Router D is meant to use a passive interface FA01 command. Observe the example on the screen. It shows all the related commands and the configuration on Router A. Using the show IP EIGRP interfaces command output on both Router A and Router B, we know how both the routers have configured EIGRP using process ID 99. We also know that EIGRP has been enabled on both GI00 and GI01 on Router A and Router B. Please note that the show IP EIGRP interfaces command doesn't list passive interface. Now observe the highlighted parts of the show IP protocols command output on each router. These parts show the parameters of the configured network commands. The show IP protocols command lists a separate line under the header routing for networks for each network command. Each line in the header lists the contents of the various network router subcommands. For instance, Router A uses the network of 10.0.0.0 configuration command. This command matches the 10.0.0.0 line in the show IP protocols command output. At the end of the show IP protocols command on Router B, we find 2 routing information sources listed, 10.1.1.1, Router A, and 10.1.1.3, Router C. But the show IP route EIGRP command output shows that Router B knows of only one EIGRP route, 10.1.11.0/24. Now take a look at the next part of the example. It shows the problems on Router C and Router D. This problem prevents Router A and Router B from learning about subnets 10.1.33.0/24 and 10.1.44.0/24. The reason Router C's problem exists is that Router C has a network 10.1.13.3 0.0.0.0 configuration command. This command doesn't match Router C's 10.1.33.3 GI0/1 IP address. With Router D, we find that Router D's GI0/1 interface has been mistakenly referred to as GI0/0. The output of the Router D's show IP EIGRP interfaces commands deliberately omits the GI0/0 passive interface. The output of the show IP protocols command output lists GI0/0 as a passive interface. Being a passive interface, Router D does not try to become a neighbor with other routers on the same LAN.